I've always believed that I've got a band here that is as good as any in the country, and I'm always happy to put them up with anybody. So it saddens me to be here tonight, not talking about our performance tomorrow, but we've drawn a set of expectations from the band over the years, and as many of you know, sometimes we were put on a sense of probation, and a year ago, Chancellor Wiley came to me and said the probation had been lifted. But I told the band at that time it wasn't lifted so far as I was concerned, that there was still a level of conduct that I expected. That code of conduct has been breached, and as a result, I'm suspending the band from any activities for the rest of the weekend on the basis of waiting for an investigation that I've asked Lori and from the Dean of Students to conduct. There's some allegations of hazing, which I find totally unacceptable. The band knows it, and I feel like this is the main step we can do to make them understand that we're very serious about this. I think we've made great strides. We've put all sorts of mentoring sessions in place to make sure they understand what appropriate behavior is representing our band. And as I said, they were violated. It's my belief that it's a very small percentage, as it always is in this case, but there's a sense of shared responsibility that I talk about with the band all the time, and particularly since the last incident, that if there is a problem, they have to step forward and say that that's not what we're about. And consequently, that was violated, and I felt like the only thing I could do to get the message across is to suspend. The university officials are in agreement that this is an appropriate action, and I would not think it'd be appropriate for me to just ignore it and say this shouldn't happen. We're going to continue to make steps to make sure these things don't occur, but I think the band has to take it very seriously.
Thank you, Professor Leckrone, and I am joining Professor Leckrone in my disappointment of hearing this, and obviously my concern for the members of the band, and certainly want to extend my appreciation for the leadership that Professor Leckrone is taking in making this decision here this evening. We will pursue an investigation as indicated. I know that Professor Leckrone indicated there's violations of the band code of conduct. This also is likely to involve violations of UW system codes 17 and 18, and I have asked Associate Dean Kevin Helmkamp to take the lead in conducting a thorough investigation. I think with that I'll turn it over to Dean Sandiford.
I have nothing to say. I'm just here to answer questions.
Take a couple questions. What specifically are band members accused of doing in this? This occurred on a Michigan trip last week, I assume?
You know, I don't think we're prepared to identify any specific place that it occurred at this point.
Can you talk about what types of hazing occurred?
Well, it's alcohol related. It's well, I think the release you got it's inappropriate sexual behavior, whether it be talking in sexual terms or whatever. It's all under investigation, so I think the specifics I just thought the allegations were serious enough that there needed to be some action right away.
How did you hear about these allegations? Did a student come forward? What happened?
Well, yes, we have a pretty good system where some students will tell us that there are inappropriate things. We will hear from parents if we understand that there's an appropriate action, and that's usually the way that we found it. We have a pretty good system in place, but this time I don't think it was in place. I don't think we did a good enough job to make it work.
Did this come from a large number of complaints, or was it a single student complaint?
Well, it's enough that I thought it warranted the action that I took.
Was this hazing geared towards new freshmen? Who was the hazing geared towards?
Well, I don't know if I can't speak specifically to all.
It's an ongoing investigation, so I think we'd like to hold that information.
Can you give us any sense of the number of students who may have been involved in the hazing?
Well, my personal sense, as I said earlier, my personal sense, it's a very small percentage. We have 300 people, and usually when we get to this situation, we discover that it gets down to a couple hands full is what's involved. But as I said, I want to make sure we cooperate totally, and we've asked the Dean's office to make sure this investigation identifies who's involved.
And then what'll happen to those that are identified?
I think that is yet to be determined. It will be part of the investigation.
Are the students going to be allowed in the game tomorrow?
The
The
students
band members?
going to be, if they have a ticket?
They have a ticket, and we will not be there. We will not be there as a group.
Has the band ever not performed at a home game, due to a suspension?
Not in 40 years.
How long is the suspension for?
Until the investigation is
That's right.
comes to completion.
How long is that expected to take?
I don't know that I want to speculate. We want to take as long as it needs to do a thorough investigation.
Do you have something set in stone that, if you find only this happened, that then they can go back to performing, or is it too early to tell?
Yeah, it's too early to tell.
Professor Leckrone, if you can talk about how tough it was for you to make this decision based on the fact that tomorrow's game, I mean, we're talking about a national game at night, you've got the national stage there. Talk about how difficult that was.
You don't have any idea how hard it was. It's like I could remember my father saying, "This is going to hurt me more than it hurts you." It was hard for me to believe that, and I'm sure the students find it hard to believe. But it's, they know how important this is to me tomorrow. And they know that I feel that this is an important issue for me to take that just for my personal, how much the game is to me. So it's hard.
I believe back in '06 when this happened, you mentioned, there's been a lot done since then. At that time, I believe you said, if anything like this comes up again, maybe I shouldn't be the band director. Do you feel any responsibility for this, or do you feel like it's out of
Sure,
your
you
hands?
always feel some responsibility because you don't think anytime something like that happens, you don't feel like you've done enough. We did a lot of things that we put in place, a lot of things of chain of command. We had students sign things. We have, as I said, we've had mentoring sessions. We've had situations where we met with upper class, we met with freshmen. We told them what they could expect and what to do. We have an ombudsman in the dean's office. We have all these things. Obviously, we still need to do more. And you ask a very good question. I've changed my attitude a little bit. My attitude is now, I'm a teacher. And I'm going to teach these people what the right way to go on this thing. And that's the way I feel about it now. I think the last time it was a learning process, and I've seen great progress. I saw by our means that I guess you call it a counterculture that is present in the band that some people don't understand what we're about. And I feel like we've made great strides for that, and we're going to make more strides.
Does all you've done in the last 2 years make this even more disappointing?
Yes, absolutely. There's no question about it. It's a huge disappointment. But that's the nature of we're dealing with young people, and they make mistakes. They do dumb things, and they don't always think. And that's part of my job is to make sure when they get out of here they do understand what is the right way to do things. And that's part of what we're going to try to do.
Lori, could you elaborate on what these codes, the system, the codes 17 and 18 are in the UW system?
The University of Wisconsin System Codes 17 and 18 are the chapters in which help govern our students and the behavior for our students, staff, and faculty on campus. And so the codes that we're referencing are actually behavioral codes. And so the investigations will determine if there were violations of those codes, as well as the codes that Professor Leckrone has in place for the members of the band.
If there is a violation, what's the maximum penalty of the student can face?
It would really depend on the circumstances and the situation of what the violations were of the code. So, the range, and if there are multiple violations, then the sanctions range anywhere from an official reprimand to expulsion from the UW.
When did the band members themselves find out about the suspension?
4:30 this afternoon.
Will they continue to practice throughout the suspension?
We will practice next Tuesday without with the knowledge, and they know this, with the knowledge that we won't perform until this matter is cleared up.
What was the reaction from them today?
The disappointment. Most of them wanted to perform. Most of them felt like this was in violation of everything we've talked about. But so there's a great disappointment.
Considering your sense that this is a small group, were there a lot of band members that were shocked to hear about this? Was it completely new to some of them?
Laura, you were there. My feeling was, yes, my feeling is I hit him between the eyes with a sledgehammer.
I
So
agree.
talk about this issue of hazing. Is this a culture that's happening with bands all over these colleges, with other marching bands that you've spoken with?
You know, I don't have any knowledge to speak to that. I mean, I know it's been something that's been intermittent here. It's been a problem sometimes, and it seems to go away sometimes. And when that happens, you can pretty much blame it on a few individuals who don't get the message. And I think that's what it is now. My guess would be, and this is purely a guess, that at other universities they have same kinds of problems intermittently. And I just felt like this. The message had to be sent that this is not something anybody's going to tolerate. I went through it last time, and I want to send a message very strongly this time.
Are any of the students implicated in these latest allegations also, or were any of them involved in the 2006 case?
It's possible. It's possible.
When did you find out about the allegations?
What time did you get there?
3:45.
3:45.
Okay, we'll take one last one.
3:45 today.
Yeah.
Is there any thought?
And, I'm sorry, let me just say that I had contacted the Chancellor's office to say that, you know, I thought we should do something about it. They came out to our rehearsal with with some specific allegations, but not the entire thing. And it was serious enough that we just had to take some action.
Have you gotten the local police involved, or do you have any concern that there are criminal violations?
I can't answer that.
We don't know, and if police are needed, the University of Wisconsin Police Department will be brought in as needed.
That's about all we have for you tonight, so we want to thank you for coming.